Hello, friends. Welcome to another episode of the Trevor Ohlsen Show. Episode, what is it, 37? I think it's 37 on Wednesday. I don't have my watch on. Shit. What's the date? January 27th, 2021. I'm your host, Trevor Ohlsen. How's everybody doing? All right. You're probably noticing this happened on Saturday too. So I'll catch you up for those of you not on Patreon. Here we go. I'm renovating my room, if you haven't been following me online. And so there's no curtains up, and there's just sunlight blinding and make horrible lighting. Horrible lighting for the video. The audio's still fine, which is good. The curtains are down. Everything's down. There's nothing aesthetically pleasing except yours truly about this video. Yes, as most of you know, there we go. I'm trying to get my face out of the frickin' light. The frickin' light. All the moms. Frickin'. I've talked about that. I'm wearing a blue shirt. I got my paint pants on. Let's see. You guys want to take a look at my paint pants? There's the paint pants. Here we go. Paint, not semen. Wow, Trevor, that's a lot of semen. Okay, is that good? Oh, yeah. So, renovating the room. And we're about done. Things are going well. I'm about done. When I say we, I mean me, always. I'm about done with the painting. As you can see behind me. White closet doors. No longer shit brown. White. Like white supremacy. White supremacy doors. No longer fecal brown. That sounds really racist. That was not my intention. They're just white now. That's all. Same with the door. Let me show you this. White door. No doorknob. White window frame. No doorknob. I just got the door attached back. I didn't have a door for like 4 days. It's like, how am I supposed to jerk off? What am I supposed to do? So I finally got the door back on, no doorknob, and so anyone could just waltz on in as well, I'm not jerking off in here. What am I just fucking around? But yeah. So this has been my life for the last 4 days, you guys. Which I'm not complaining. I'm just letting you guys know. Like as far as like things to talk about, this is what we're gonna be talking about because it's all I've been doing. And so, but it's been a good experience. I like the color. I like the look of it. I just can't look too closely at anything because since I did it, I'm quite self-critical. I've always been quite self-critical, and to a point, self-criticism is good, but beyond a certain point, it's detrimental, and so it's easy for me to I do this a lot with my music. Also, if I look like I have super oily skin, it's because I put on a facial oil. That's right. Gentlemen, go get yourself a facial oil. No, my skin just felt really dry. And I don't put moisturizer on every day or anything. I used to, but then once I stopped with all the face wash shit, my skin cleared up. Funny enough, like once I stopped, I just rinse my face now, and my skin's more clear than it's really ever been. But it was dry. I don't know, just from the cold weather, the sauna kind of dries it out a little, and so I have a little facial oil bar that I just rub on my face. So my face looks oily. That's why. But I can be a little bit self-critical, and so if there's any little spot that doesn't look good, it really stands out to me, and I'm pretty content with like the way the windowsill looks. But funny enough, it also reminds me of one of my old friends, like his shitty apartment, which is unfortunate because I'm not going for a shitty apartment look. But just like the way that, I don't know if it's just how I paint. I don't know. I think I'm being too self-critical. But when I woke up, I was looking at everything. I was like, oh, it looks really nice and bright and pretty. So it's coming along. It's been a fun experience. It's been like 4. Sounds a lot. Like it does. You don't kind of realize how long it takes to paint, especially like the windowsill, all the little cracks and crevices, and just every little kind of detail. And then if you have to go over it again because you didn't really, because it needs more, it needs another little layer. Like it's definitely time consuming. I've been doing like roughly like 3-4 hours a day on things, and I feel like that's way too long. Like I feel like it shouldn't take me that long, but it has. It has taken me this long, and but also I was like I took everything off. Like things you have to do more. You have to tape. That's right. That's a big time consumer right there. Is like you have to get everything taped off. Yeah, and if you don't, it looks like shit. So got things taped off. Yeah, and now I'm looking to sell that headboard. I know I talked about that on Saturday. I'm going to get that out of my room today. I'm going to get it out in the basement, right in the open, where it's going to annoy me. But I don't want it in here anymore either. So, yeah, if you're in the area and you want a headboard, I'll sell it to you. But yeah, guys, I hit the record button. I was like, what the hell am I going to talk about? I've been doing this and going to the gym. That's it. Like, this is why I cut the show back to 30 minutes, because I was like, I've got nothing to talk about. I'm not watching the news right now. I haven't been. I don't even know if Joe Biden's president. I think he is. Pretty sure that Kamala, that woman is the vice president. Yeah, I don't know what Trump's up to. He's sucking his thumb in the corner somewhere, upset that he's no longer the man. Yeah, so I've got nothing to say. I listen to my books, I listen to my podcasts. Those of you who have been tuning in, you know what I do. I mean, I'm highly predictable at this point. And I'm like hyper predictable at this point because of the pandemic and quarantine and restaurants being closed and everything. It's just a bunch of shit. I was over at my sister Allie's last night. I always end up there. It was fun. She had a friend in town, and we had dinner together. And my niece and she's sick today, which is a bummer. She woke up sick. My niece was all over me last night. So hopefully I start getting sick today too. I don't think I will. I think I'm fine. Because adults' immune systems typically seem to be stronger. I just remember being a kid. It's like you get sick all the time. And when you get older, you get a little less and less because your immune system gets stronger, hopefully. And but she was all over me last night as far as like she was so sweet. Like she's the best. My nieces are the best. Also, she's really, really good at Minecraft. Like I've heard of the game, and I know it's been out for quite a while now, and I remember it was all the talk, but she's really good at it. Like she can build cities. She built a small town, and I was like, "You built all that?" She was showing me. She's like, "Yeah, watch." And then I told her, she's like, what do you want me to build? And I was like, make the Empire State Building. And I showed her a picture of it. And she made this intricate, like highly detailed building that totally resembles the Empire State Building. And she was working on the interior, and she was doing different floors and levels, and like all the way down to the details of like the carpeting and the types of rooms. Like, I don't know, she's got quite the imagination with that sort of thing. That's not really my thing. I've just, as far as, maybe it could be, but, well, for one, I've just never played it, but, like, my mind doesn't immediately go to building structures, and, like, I'm having a tough time imagining what this room is going to look like, and I live in it. I have a tough time trying to figure out how I can pull it all together, like, visualizing. I'm not a good visualizer. I don't know if I just need practice, or it's just the way that my way of thinking works. I think I'm more so verbal. But here's the interesting part. I'm a visual learner. Like, it's like as far as if I have to, it's so much easier for me to just, if I have to learn something, instead of reading about it, just to watch a YouTube video of somebody doing it. I think maybe it's probably easier for everyone in that regard. But for me in particular, like just being able to visually see what the person is doing with whatever thing it is that I'm trying to learn, it's so much quicker and easier for me to just imitate them than to read on it and try to figure it out myself. I think that's probably true for everyone. But as far as like visualizing, I know that some people can just close their eyes and like, oh, visualize yourself on a beach and Corona, not the virus, the drink, the Corona beer, like Snoop Dogg in the commercials, like, oh, a little palm tree to your right, and oh, a slight breeze, and oh, the salt in the air and the sunshine, and oh, a bunch of titties in front of you, like that sort of thing. Like, well, I feel like I could kind of visualize that pretty well. Just not everything, not just the tits. That wasn't bad. I kind of walked myself just through it. But I feel like more so I'm maybe a verbal. I think in words, not like some people think in images, and I think more so in words. And it's just another cool realization that like people think different. People think different, man. People think differently. We all have different temperaments. We're all different. And then, my God, it's a miracle we're all not at each other's throats. Oh, wait a second. Oh, wait, we are all at each other's oily faces' throats. No, it's okay. We're going to get through. Is the country still in turmoil? No, I know we are. Well, I wouldn't use turmoil. I'd say we're at a highly divided time, but we need to. I listened to a great podcast the other day, and it was just a great reminder. Couple lessons I took away from it. We have to be able to forgive. Such a basic idea. It goes back to Christ. Basic, simple forgiveness. We have to be able to forgive people who we disagree with, people who have wronged us, people who have mistreated us. Very simple, but not easy. So, forgiveness. 2, we have to seek to be understanding and compassionate, and truly try to understand the other person, why the other person feels the way that they feel. And typically, if you can do that, the conversation you guys will be much better. And then finally, it was to stay away from anything conspiratorial, because I mean, with the internet, you know this. I mean, anyone can put up anything on the internet, and there's so much like misinformation out there, so much that, and then you just got to stay away from that. So I would recommend for myself to stay off social media, as far as like Facebook and getting wrapped up in art, like anything that you're reading, like don't read anything off Facebook. Well, I know there's a lot of good stuff on Facebook, but it's just you can just get wrapped up in these horrible stories that are algorithmically thrown into your face because they know it'll disappoint you and make you angry and make you respond and keep you on there longer so that they make more money. It's crazy. And again, it's not that Facebook is this nefarious supervillain. It's just the way the algorithm is set up. Now, obviously, the creators of this algorithm are, I'm sure now, because we're cognizant of it, I'm sure they are as well, so they could adjust the algorithm because there's so much outrage and like there needs to be some sort of change. There needs to be some sort of thing, some sort of thing implemented that makes things better. There you go. That's a good idea to throw forth. We need something that makes things better. I hate using the word thing. Makes me feel dumb. But that's okay. So, that was just a good reminder to stay away from anything that's conspiratorial, especially right now, and to trust in the institutions that we have in place. I think that's important. It's important because these institutions we do have in place have kept the American experiment afloat for the last 300 plus years. And we have like, what are our other options? Tyranny? Like, maybe, and I'm sure some people want that. Of course, obviously, some people want that. People at the Capitol Hill. It's a revolution, man. It's a revolution. It's like you're just bored because you're not working. It's not a settle down. Maybe it's a revolution. Define revolution. Where's my mouse? Being blinded right now. Define revolution. There we go. A forcible overthrow of a government or social order in favor of a new system. Well, people definitely want that. An instance of revolving. Okay, so an instant of one revolution a second. Obviously, people want change. That's very self-evident. Very self-evident. But we have to be careful to just not am I going to use this phrase correctly? Throw the baby out with the bathwater? Sure, that sounds smart. We just have to be careful not to just like, hey, get rid of everything and start fresh. It's like, hey, a lot of us are probably a lot more stupid than we realize. And let's settle down. First off, take the wolf skin and the face paint off. Let's have a conversation. These people won't talk, though, Trevor. You just don't get it. They're the high elites, and they've got nefarious intentions, and they're out to get me. It's like, that's not true. Some of it is, but it's like, maybe, like, what is and what isn't. Listen, the world's not out to get anyone. Life is just what it is. And we have to be careful not to fall into a victim mentality of oppressed and oppressor. Now, it's easy for me to say that. It's easy for me to say that. All right, I get it. But I do think it's the case no matter what. I think it's useful to not see yourself as a victim regardless of your race or your gender. Because then if you take off the lens of victimhood and you start seeing your life as your own responsibility, then you can start to take action and actually make change. Because if you're just a victim, then you can't do anything, right? So it's like you're stuck in this place. I'm a victim, and there's nothing I can do about it. Whereas if you are in this place and you go, I'm not a victim, I am in control of my own life, you can start making the daily changes and doing the daily disciplines that will ultimately lead to your freedom, let's say, of that so-called place that you are stuck in. So it's useful. You know, there's Rogan and Rob Lowe, great podcast. Rob Lowe, super likable guy, like very likable. I listened to that podcast twice because I enjoyed it so much, and I'll always remember what Rob Lowe said. He just said, worldview. And he's like, positivity, optimism, rejection of victimhood. And I was like, that's really powerful. And the idea of the rejection of victimhood is a lesson that I've been hearing repeated throughout all these different books that I'm hearing, and same with the idea of hyper-personal responsibility. And I just think those are so important to touch on, because there's a lot of value in being the victim these days. Like, there's plenty of value. And I hear my mom. She's downstairs. So you just have to be aware of. You have to be self-aware enough to recognize what it is and how it is that you're thinking. And it's tricky. We have to all become a bit more. It sounds so. It's very weird when you think about it. It's like, of course you're self-aware. It's like, here you are experiencing life, and it's like most of us, myself included, are not very self-aware in the present moment, conscious of all the different things that we're doing every day. And how do you become more self-aware? I think it's one thing you can do. I know one little trick I've never done it personally, but I've read about it quite a few times, is you can just, for a week or 2 weeks, do it for a week if you, it'll be easier. Write down everything you do in a day. Write down your day. Okay, I did this from this time to that time. I did that from this time to this time, and add, and then do that for an entire week, and then go back and look, and you'll be like, oh wow, I'm spending 4 hours watching the news every day, which I didn't realize, which I don't enjoy. It's like, oh, I spent 2 hours on Instagram, which is useless. Oh man, I just ate and ate and ate whenever I got stressed out, and it's like, oh, that's what I'm doing. So it's weird that we have to kind of figure ourselves out, and we have to try to understand ourselves, because it's like, you'd think, it's so weird to think of the idea of, and it's like, we all know this feeling. It's like the question of, who am I? It's like, who am I? Why am I here? What am I doing? Like, we have to mold our own identities, and it's weird. And of course, our identities are altered and affected by our upbringing and our financial status, and our ethnicity and our sex, and like all these different things. But it's just so weird to think that you basically get to be whoever you want to be in this life, to some degree. Obviously, if you're born a white male biologically, you're like, such as myself, I'm going to biologically be a white male, even if I had a sex change. It's like, listen, I have no problem with people changing their sex or anything like that, but biologically, I feel as it, of course, yeah, I can't just say I feel. It's like, biologically, even if I had a sex change, I'd still be a biological male. Not gonna get into any of that. So it's like, of course, you're right. We have parts of our identities that we can't affect, like our height, or like I said, our hair or skin color. It's like, we can manipulate ourselves, but we're born as like a clean slate, so to speak, and a certain slate as well. And it's just very interesting to think about. It's like, we have to form our own identities. It's like, who are we? What are we doing? How are we operating in this life? And then it's like, who do you want to be? Who do you not want to be? And what do you see as noble and honorable? And what do you see as reprehensible and worth running from? And it's like, yeah, it's very interesting that we all have to kind of figure out our own identities. And I think one way to really, and listen, I've said it a million times, but one way to really find out who you are, what you're made of, is go through a ferocious, rigorous exercise routine and get to a point where you are so physically broken down that everything is stripped away. You'll know the moment. You will know the moment. Basically, if you got any gas left in the tank, you're not there. It's when you are gasping for breath, like, I don't know if I can take another step on this treadmill, or I can do one more rep, or if I can do anything else. And it's in that moment that you are stripped completely raw of all the fucking bullshit you tell yourself, of you're proud and you're strong and you persist. And it's like, you can say those things. You can say that you are hardworking and that you're consistent and that you're disciplined and that you're focused. But all of a sudden, in that moment, that's when you find out what you're made of. And in that moment, you either get to be those things or you don't. And that, personally, for me, it's an excellent tool to do that on an almost daily basis. Like, I was doing this back workout yesterday, and it was the final set of the whole back workout, so I was pretty worn out. And I was like, I don't know if I can do this. I truly was like, I don't know if I can. And it hurt. It fucking hurt a lot. And I had to get 12 reps. It was like a superset. So I was doing one exercise, 12 reps, and then another exercise, 12 reps, back and forth. And on that last one, I was like, I don't know if I can do these 12 reps. But damn it, I did. And I even forced myself to get 13. And it hurt. But it's in those moments of when you are so exhausted. It's when you're psychologically panicking almost. It's like a panic because you're when you're psychologically so overwhelmed and overstimulated, maybe not overstimulated, but overworked, or you feel overworked, or you feel as if you've gone as far as you can. It's in those moments that you find out who you really are, and it's in those moments that are you gonna give up, or are you gonna prevail? So if you want to try to find yourself, I recommend, and I couldn't recommend more, starting off with rigorous, ferocious exercise. Go for a run. Go for a run. If you say, there's no way I could run a mile. Well, yeah, here's what I was going to say. There's a few ways to approach it. It's like, just go run a mile, or say, or run beyond a mile, or just leave, like, okay, if you're like really, 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 really out of shape and you're old, don't hurt yourself. Like, you have to approach your body from conservatively. All right, you have to. The goal is long term, right? It's longevity. So, but I guess for someone such as myself, or younger kids, younger people listening, people roughly our age, I don't know, people 18 to 34, whatever. Like, just go fucking push yourself beyond your limits. And like I said, all the bullshit that you tell yourself will be stripped away, and you will find the raw little baby underneath that is inside you. That sounds weird. Like a pregnant woman. And you're going to find out what you're made of. And in that moment, that's where you get to decide who you are. That's what it is. It's in the stripping down of yourself that at your most vulnerable, you get to decide then who you are. Because it's easy to be tough when you've got all your strength, and it's easy to be courageous when you've got nothing to fear. But when push comes to shove, people, it's in those moments of intense vulnerability that then you get to decide who you are. And you either get to take a step forward or you get to take a step backwards. I recommend moving forward. Like the vacuum upstairs that my mother is pushing. She's moving it forward. As women should be. I had to throw in a good little sexist feminine joke in there, folks. Come on. Hey, and don't be mad at me. I started the robot vacuum we have. The Roomba. We call it Inga, which is, I'm pretty sure, racist. But our vacuum we call Inga. Sorry to any Ingas out there listening. We named our vacuum after you, our robot vacuum after you. Listen, I made sure it was empty. I started it. I did the dishes. I cleaned up. All right. I had friends over here the other day before my room was a hurricane scene, and they told me, they said, "Wow, your room's really clean." And I said, "That's right, because I'm an adult." No, I like things clean, and so it's been kind of a nightmare having this room being such a disaster. But I know that it's gonna be nice and it's gonna be pretty. It's gonna be pretty once I get it all done. So, yes, folks, what did we talk about today? Let's review. Home renovations. Things take time. Rob Lowe, charismatic. I always end up talking about like taking responsibility for your own life, but I think it's important, and I always talk about fitness because I can't stress it enough, and I don't think you can really ever hear it enough as well. I disagree, Trevor. Go fuck yourself. Like, and like I said, I can only talk about so much when all I do is paint. Last 4 days, and go to the gym. All right, listen to podcasts and books. All right, you know what? I'm just making excuses now. So I'll start taking responsibility for that and try to talk about more topics. But yes. All right, folks, we're at the end of the show because these are half-hour shows in case you're out of the loop. Cut back to half hour for your little digestible conveniences. Hope you guys all have a fantastic rest of your day. If you'd like to reach out to the show, I'd love to hear from you. Not really. The Trevor Ohlsen Show at gmail.com. I'll say it again. The Trevor Ohlsen Show at gmail.com. I'd love to hear your questions, your thoughts, your concerns, your naked pictures. To the Trevor Ohlsen Show at gmail.com. And of course, if you like these episodes, if you enjoy the podcast, if you'd like to support me, if you feel as if my videos have helped you, if they've made you laugh, if they've inspired you, if I've inspired you, if I've fired you up, if I've brightened your day up, if I've added any sort of positive element to your life, folks, then you can go sign up at patreon.com/Trevor Ohlsen. That's patreon.com/Trevor Ohlsen. There you will find a bunch of exclusive shit that you can get, folks. You can get the Saturday bonus episodes when you sign up at $5 a month. You gain access to like 20 hours worth of me talking. Do them every Saturday. And then, of course, you can get handwritten letter from me, sign up, autographed pictures, t-shirts, early access to music, opportunities to Skype with me, all sorts of really fun, cool shit that everybody who's signed up really digs and really enjoys. Daily inspirational messages, folks. Come on. All that you can sign up. You could start at $5 a month at patreon.com/Trevor Ohlsen. You guys all have a fantastic rest of your week. Keep moving forward, and I will see you Saturday.